Welcome to TMZ Live. Kim Kardashian may be incredibly rich, incredibly famous, but the sex tape is rearing its head again.
Yes, and it has now caused more legal strife between herself and her sex tape partner, Ray J. You know that last month, Kim and her mom, Kris, filed a defamation suit against Ray J for some things that he said, alleging that there was a federal investigation, a RICO investigation into the Kardashians. Well, he is now fired back saying, guess what? You have been screwing me over for years, and it is time to pay the piper.
So the screwing over has to do with talking about things related to the sex tape, because what happened was on the Kardashians reality show, Kim was in a closet talking to Khloe and made a comment that Ray J had sexually assaulted her. And this was around the time the sex tape was made. And so Ray J lawyered up and they ultimately settled.
So,
and Ray
by the way, we didn't know about this.
We didn't know anything about this.
This new filing that he just filed yesterday kind of pulled the curtain back on what happened. We didn't realize, but they made an agreement after that.
They made a deal that Kim and the
whole
Kardashian
family
clan would pay Ray J $6 million and also sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, in which they could not ever reference that sex tape again.
And apparently,
here's the problem. He said in that agreement, if you blab about it and violate this NDA, you owe me $1 million. Those are damages that are automatically owing to me if you violate this agreement. And on the show in subsequent seasons, you kept blabbing about the sex tape. You continue to talk about it. You with your family. He even says Ye was talking about it. They're just
they brought the hard drive, remember?
That was a whole plot line about Kanye going to get this hard drive.
But see, the problem is the Kardashians are executive producers on the show. They make the decision, so essentially they're allegedly violating the NDA. So Ray J has now filed this lawsuit. Look, we can talk about NDAs. What this really has to do with, when you boil it all down, it has to do with these allegations. Remember, Kim has said, I was horrified that the sex tape ever got out. I had no idea that it was going to happen. Ray J is calling BS, saying, come on. And Ray J even has documents that certainly seem to show that look, you cannot release a sex tape. One of these big companies like Vivid would never release the tape without getting the signature of the people involved, because otherwise you get sued out of business.
That's right. And he's saying, I'm not playing in your charade anymore. You have now sued me for defamation over this, comment that he made on the TMZ Diddy documentary, which wasn't even really sort of factual in nature. He just said, I wouldn't be surprised if a RICO charge came against them, but not Diddy.
Well, he made it sound like there was an investigation.
So let's deal with the sex tape first, and then I want to, because I'm curious as to how he explains what he said on that live stream. So what he's saying now is, you need to pay me how much money? Does he say how many times they violated this?
It's a breach of contract, and he's saying
I think it's $1 million for each
time
disclosure.
So does he have an accounting of this? He's like, this episode.
He has in his prayer for relief just said $1 million at a minimum because you violated this contract that we set, and I have the violation on tape. And you did it on the show.
I believe it's $1 million per violation.
But that's not really what this is about. I don't think he would have ever sued them over this breach of contract if they didn't sue him for defamation.
This thing all started, again, we're getting too legal. It started because Ray J is saying that not only were Kim and Kris deeply involved in the production and the sale of the sex tape, but he says that Kris, there were actually 2 sex tapes, one shot in Cabo San Lucas, another shot in Santa Barbara. And Kris is the one who picked the tape that was best. That's what he's saying.
And it was Cabo, not Santa Barbara. He says in the lawsuit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't your opinion. That was.
I don't know. I would like to see Santa Barbara so I can judge for myself.
Santa Barbara was never released.
I can judge for myself. Yeah.
So this is what it's really about. It's like the Kardashians.
They have different versions of
what happened,
how this came out, and the Kardashians have always stuck to their story, and that they didn't want it to come out.
And by the way, that story makes no sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
And you can tell he's very offended for being dragged into this charade and being sort of accused of sexual assault in some ways on the show. Or they said that you.
Now that said, Ray J is going off a cliff on this RICO thing, saying that the Kardashians.
And I think he has a problem. I think he has a problem with this because aside from when he said it on our special, yes, you could say that was opinion. But what he said on that live stream, the way he said it on the live stream,
they're being investigated.
He said the feds are coming for them. There is a RICO investigation going down. The feds are coming for the Kardashians.
He has a response to that, though. He says that on that live stream, he thought the mics were down. It was a live stream, but when you watch it, you don't really see Ray J. It sounds like that's a plausible explanation.
That's what he says, and I think that
doesn't matter.
Hot mic, I didn't know that.
Not going to fly.
Gonna be tough.
The real issue is what are the damages the Kardashians suffer from this, really?
Not much.
They just, they just had a party.
This is a juggernaut.
Where everybody who has more than $100 million showed up, and it's not like they've been ridiculed by the people they need.
That begs the question: why'd they let it get to this then? If they could stroke $1 million check and make it all go away, the defamation, the RICO, all that stuff.
I don't have an answer to that.
I'm Empress from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm on Ray J's side because I believe if anybody deserves some money for defamation, he does. He's been villainized behind this, and it's just a shame. He deserves some compensation.
Congratulations to Cardi B. She is...
And Stefan Diggs.
But I was referring to Cardi specifically because of the video we got. So you've probably heard by now, Cardi and Stefan had their first child together. What we know about it, that Cardi did not say when she announced it on Instagram. She actually had the baby about a week ago, actually more than a week ago now, and she has kept it quiet, but she was yesterday clearly ready, I think, for this to come out because she was out in the gym.
And a public gym. This
public gym.
This is not like, and also there are people with cell phones there.
That guy on the cell phone right there, you don't think he's telling somebody, oh my God, Cardi B's in the gym here.
He may well have.
Yeah, he very well may have. So there she was working out, and by the way, just in a sports bra and leggings, so feeling good about her fitness.
So she had
just a week after.
Baby boy.
We
don't know the weight. We don't know anything else.
We don't know the name. We don't know anything. But this is giving. Don't you guys think this is giving just a little bit stage? Like, when celebrities have a baby, they normally do like a rollout. Like they'll go and do like a magazine spread, or sometimes they'll just go on their Instagram and post it.
Anymore.
Who goes to a public gym on the level of Cardi B and like
she was with? But we were told she was with two trainers.
Yeah, but so why didn't the two trainers come to her mega mansions that she have and train her in the privacy of her own home, like or at a private gym? You went to a public gym.
I don't even know where Cardi's primary home is now. This was
in New Jersey. Is it not still in Atlanta?
I thought Atlanta was, but maybe.
Either way it goes, she's Cardi B. She could rent a space for privacy.
There's something odd about it because it seemed like there was a little bit of a surprise on her end that there would be a picture or something like that, or video.
There was definitely a surprise on her end. And then she did eventually make her own announcement on it.
Yeah,
by the way, the video was interesting. This might be the strangest baby announcement from a celebrity because if you're just looking at it,
she looks...
There's nothing. Yeah. Sometimes you get like a photo where they just show the baby's hand or something. No. She just.
That's very Cardi B-esque.
Played one of her songs and.
Because she also.
Was that a video that was just done?
Yes.
No, but you also remember celebrities when they know that they're pregnant and they know that they're going to have a baby, they record and do a lot of content to keep in the arsenal to
let me just say this.
Post-pregnancy and during.
No. Let me just say this. From
our
knowledge of breaking this story last night, that was not something that was done
in advance.
That was not done in advance.
She just threw that on.
So this was Cardi's reaction to it. In her post, all she said was, she acknowledged, I am working on my fitness. I'm back in the gym, getting ready for my tour, which starts in February. Now, Stefan Diggs was busy last night. He was at the office. The Patriots were playing the Jets on Thursday Night Football.
And there was one little thing that happened that has caught the attention of people on social media.
Might not have been the greatest timing the day that the world found out you just had a baby of Cardi B.
Another first down.
Good catch.
Tosses it to the cheerleader.
There you go, honey. There you go, a little something for you. That's just people. By the way,
football.
I don't even know if he was even throwing it to her.
He didn't know who he was throwing it to. He's got the visor
She seemed
on.
surprised.
Well, that's a story at least.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with it.
Didn't even see her there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, it's Malaysia, and I'm from Southern California. And I just feel like, with Cardi announcing the arrival of her and Stefan's child, they both know how to stay in the limelight. And I think that the past, to the cheerleader, it probably was friendly. But then again, we're talking about Stefan here.
Coming up. Donald Trump is on the ropes over Epstein. The public wants this file released. Why isn't he opening his eyes? How is he becoming disconnected? And what's the psychology behind that?
I have a theory, but I am not a trained psychologist or psychiatrist, but luckily we have one.
You can't just ride the power and influence indefinitely by itself.
Be right back.
So Donald Trump is on the ropes over Epstein. And I gotta say that this is stunning to me, that he is making the mistake that Joe Biden made that allowed Donald Trump to become president again.
How so?
Donald Trump.
We should say that, obviously the House has said there's going to be a vote next week. Everyone expects the House is going to pass it.
And even if the Senate passes it, Donald Trump will almost surely veto it. Here's the thing. Donald Trump needs to read the room, that the public wants this file released. And it is increasingly clear Donald Trump is scared to death over something in that file. There's just no question about it. We know that. We see it. He's trying to deflect and he can't do it. And the more he does, the more he digs a hole. And this guy has been so successful at, creating whatever version of the truth he has, and he can sell it. He has done that, and he's bullied law firms, he's bullied universities, he's bullied broadcast networks, and he's gotten his way.
And he thought that he could do the same with and let's be honest, for a long time now, he has.
But he's
because
not. But he's
one
not
of the campaign promises he made is, I'm going to release the files. And from day one, since he was inaugurated, it has been delay, obfuscate, and throw out anything you can other than Epstein files, and it just keeps coming back.
So they're being an old guy now, I can go back because I remember it. Richard Nixon did some really important things. He opened up China. He helped end the Vietnam War. All people remember him for is Watergate. And Watergate is his legacy. And with Donald Trump, this thing is becoming so big, and he just thinks he can wish it away. He's not going to be able to. And the more he waits, the more people will never be satisfied because they'll assume whatever is released ultimately is going to be doctored or removed. And this is going to be his legacy if he doesn't open his eyes. And the question, why isn't he opening his eyes? How is he becoming disconnected, where he's telling people, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes about the fact that prices are low right now? Well, people aren't feeling that. He's making the mistake Biden made, and he's losing his mojo when it comes to this. So why? Why is he suddenly detached? And what's the psychology behind that?
I have a theory, but I am not a trained psychologist or psychiatrist. But luckily we have one. Joining us now to talk about what is going on in the president's brain, perhaps, is Dr. Mina Mirholm, a Columbia-trained psychiatrist. Dr. Mirholm, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
All right, this is a tough patient, I would say, for you to tackle. But as Harvey, we were just discussing, what's changed for him, or has something changed for him? Why does this bullying to get his way isn't working anymore, but he seems to just keep sticking to it? Why?
Yeah, and I can tell you without necessarily diagnosing President Trump, but what we see in behavioral patterns of leaders is one thing is you'll stick to a pattern that has worked for you in the past, which is part of what President Trump does is sort of this dominance framing of a conversation, of saying, I'm going to approach it with absolute confidence and dominance, and the more I can reinforce that same kind of message, the more likely I am to get the result that I want. Now, that may not always work, as we're seeing in some folks here, but every single one of us actually has a President Trump-like figure as a boss or as a leader or maybe even a partner. And the more we can understand how we can work with this person, as opposed to saying, is this bad or good, the more likely we are to get, a conversation going rather than a conflict.
But is it kind of a common thing, like you said, it's worked for him for a long time to kind of wish the truth into existence, which he does, or demand that his version is what people accept. You know, when it doesn't work, how do you get through to him? Because it feels to me like, you know, whether people in the office are afraid to tell him or try to tell him, but he's just not receiving it. He's got some real problems with Epstein for sure, and with the whole issue of cost of living, where he's telling people, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?
Harvey, I think that's the most important question that we can answer is how do you get through to someone who is just not being able to be on the same page as reality, right? One thing that we do wrong in these situations and maybe partially caused the shutdown is trying to sort of force our point of view and saying, you're wrong, this is bad, and sort of injuring the ego of the person that actually doesn't make them come around to our point of view. And when they want to get to this impression management, which is what President Trump often will do, as an ego protection, right? I don't want to be in a place where I'm vulnerable or I made a mistake or did something wrong. So the way that we can come around and actually get him to see something different is to almost appeal to what matters to him most, right? What appeals to him is you care about your base, you care about people who support you, you care about this framing of us versus them, and we can be in the us against the problem, not us against you personally, because anybody who feels on the ropes this way will get defensive and fight back. But one of the things that we could do really well, almost I felt over the shutdown that we needed a therapist in the room, you know, of all the government conversations, is not injuring your ego, but saying to you, you are trying to do the best you can, but let me help you against the problem. It's not me against you, and that sometimes can be effective.
You know, there's a maxim that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know, what occurred to me, you know, as I've been watching this over the last week or so, is power doesn't just corrupt. It makes people detached from reality because they think their power becomes an edict for the truth. And when they have that break, that's when they lose their power. So it's almost an irony that absolute power doesn't necessarily corrupt. Absolute power makes you lose power.
That's very true. And that is exactly the irony here is that if left unchecked and if you don't realize as a person of power, whether you're the president or a CEO, is that you can't just ride the power and influence indefinitely by itself. You have to be able to corral or use the power to make relationships happen because that's oftentimes a different form of power. And if you're somebody around this person and you're seeing this progression, you're saying, you know what, there is a sense of this power corrupting them and they're going to lose their power. You again want to appeal to the fact that they love that power. You want to maintain that power, don't you? Here's one way that you can continue to expand your influence and not lose it. How do you do that? If I'm an outsider, if I'm an advisor to President Trump, I'm not telling him you're losing your way, you're not effective, people don't want to listen to you. That's not going to get through to a person or a leader like President Trump. What will get through to say, you know what, you've been an effective leader. Whether you think that's a good statement or not, you have come to be the president, you know, twice in the United States. How do we maintain this power? How do we expand this power? That's what you want to hear as a leader, as ways to increase my influence, not to tell me that I'm no longer influential. And that's how you can change the perspective.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, I do hope there are some people in D.C. Who were listening to what you have to say, Dr. Mearholm. We really appreciate your insight on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope so too.
Coming up.
Elon Musk is about to enter a whole new territory, trillionaire, the world's first trillionaire, which has a lot of people thinking about how he can spend that money. And Billie Eilish, well, she's not really concerned about how he spends it because she thinks, well, she doesn't think very highly of him.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Well, Elon Musk is about to enter a whole new territory, trillionaire, the world's first trillionaire, which has a lot of people thinking about how he can spend that money. And Billie Eilish, well, she's not really concerned about how he spends it because she thinks, well, she doesn't think very highly of him. We already know what she thinks about billionaires. Remember a couple of weeks ago, she said, what are you billionaires doing?
Why?
she hates billionaires.
Yeah.
Why be a billionaire? So trillionaire, you can imagine what her reaction is. So last night, somebody was posting some ideas about what Elon Musk could do with his trillionaire status, and Billie started reposting these ideas about, ending world hunger or saving endangered species, all wonderful things. Rebuild Gaza, and then she said he's not going to do any of that because he is a bleeping, pathetic, bleep, bitch, coward. It's a lot of epithets there.
This is,
or rather,
sorry, Billie, you're really
expletives.
talented. This is so dumb. This is so dumb.
What?
Yeah, dumb. Let me tell you why it's dumb.
I'm happy to listen.
Okay. Elon Musk has developed something called Neuralink. If Neuralink works, it's implanted in the brain. It could eliminate epilepsy. It could eliminate Parkinson's. So one of the things he's doing with his billions of dollars is trying to make the world better. That you look at what Bill Gates is doing, what Jeff Bezos has done for the
you made
environment.
your point. I would really like to hear Talia's
What is he going to
response
charge people to then use this technology? You find a cure for cancer, they're killing the scientists that find cures for cancer, and then insulin is now costing people an arm and a leg. Sure, he might find Neuralink and fund it with his money to
But that's not on
cure.
Elon, that's on the pharmaceutical companies.
No. Her point is, if I may, I think
Please,
you're saying, yes, he's inventing Neuralink. Now, if he's just going to give that technology to people to solve all the things it could solve, then that would be amazing, right? Then you would applaud that.
Absolutely.
But your issue is that he is
doing it
going
for
to make a
profit.
lot of money by doing that.
Okay, is it better not to have Neuralink?
No, but you can do Neuralink and not be
Who's
a
gonna do it?
trillionaire.
Who's going to do it?
He could do it
why
with
is he? Why
he
is
could
he,
do it with millions
why
of
is
dollars.
he incentivized to do that? If at a point you're saying you can't make any more, that's your limit. Why is he incentivized to do more?
Well, I mean, he bought Twitter, and he certainly didn't make any money off of that to begin with, right?
Well, he took chances.
He was willing to take a huge loss on that.
He almost lost his shirt on Tesla. He almost lost his shirt on SpaceX.
So why not take a huge loss on something that's actually going to help humanity?
Benefit society.
I'm not sure how Twitter is helping humanity.
You want to incentivize people to do. That's what our whole country is based on. And when you look,
and some might say, look where our country is.
Well, it may be, but when you look at billionaires right now, the movement for billionaires is for them not to pass money down to their relatives. It's to give it to charity, and that's what 400 of them are doing.
That's great. I also think though $1 trillion, is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of.
Why? He's successful.
Because I don't care if you're successful. I care about the people of the world.
You think the government's going to do better with money?
Stephanie calling in from Brooklyn. I'm not mad at Billie. I honestly agree with her. I don't think anybody should have $1 trillion when there's so many homeless and hungry people in the world. But the richest focus more on greed than making the world better. So congrats to him.
I give up.
Coming up.
Scooter Braun has made some big business deals over the years.
I think he made a bad one this time.
Really? Well, look, buying Taylor Swift's catalog certainly was a profitable move for him, but the deal that he could have made would have been, I think, more profitable, way more profitable.
Billions.
Billions.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Scooter Braun has made some big business deals over the years.
I think he made a bad one this time.
Really? Well, look, buying Taylor Swift's catalog certainly was a profitable move for him, if not controversial. But the deal that he could have made, would have been, I think, more profitable, way more profitable.
Billions. Billions.
We're talking about OnlyFans. The platform is looking to sell. They've been trying to find someone or investors to buy the platform. And it actually landed on Scooter Braun's desk.
The company went to him.
And
Which
said,
made sense, by the way.
Yes, because I'm sure they've heard about all the deals that he's done in the past, and that here's a guy who can get investors for the right deal. So they bring it to him, what we're told by people who were involved in this deal, that they came to him and said, would you like to buy us? Make us an offer. And he said, well, let me see some paperwork. Let's see what the company's got and what your numbers are. And they took about 2 weeks, we're told, to get all that together. And then they presented it to him, and he said,
not for me.
Keep in mind, this is a company that the revenue, just revenue alone, in 2024 was reportedly almost $6 billion. 1 year.
And growing.
1 year.
And growing.
Why, Harvey, do you think this was a bad move?
Because I think a lot of this has to do with pearl clutching. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that people are saying, ooh, there's
a stigma.
Raunchy material on. It's like porn. Porn is
yes. I mean, most of what is on OnlyFans.
It's not mostly porn. It's an
mostly?
No, it's.
I know there are a lot of things, but I think mostly
softcore.
Yes.
It runs the gamut, and there are things. But look, we did a documentary on OnlyFans, The War Over OnlyFans, which is on Tubi right now, and Hulu, and we talked to people who are really against it and really for it. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to people like Black China, who was a stripper, and she would leave a club at 3 a.m. with a bag of cash, she's saying, how much better is my life that I don't have to walk out in the dark with bags of cash and stand on a stage. I can do it at home. Right. I can raise my kids. I can be safe. And what I do is
you're
legal.
bringing up all the positives, though, and
this is positive things about it.
There for sure is. There's also negative, and obviously,
there's negative in everything.
Regardless if he wants to admit it or not, Scooter definitely really cares about his image and what people say about him, and he's gotten a lot of bad press recently, whether he deserved it or not, with the Justin Bieber stuff, with the Taylor Swift stuff. Right. I think he just doesn't want to have the image now that he's the owner of OnlyFans.
But he should, if you're right, he shouldn't be scared of that. I mean, so what, people? And by the way,
because the reality is, all the things you said about OnlyFans, that Black China and that the people who are proponents of it said that is absolutely
Black China
true.
Was against it.
But it is also true that there is
he also
a
has kids, right? And do you think he wants kids going up to his kids at school and being like, "Oh, your dad bought OnlyFans,"
and they would say, "Awesome,"
and he doesn't need any more money.
But that's a whole other thing.
No, he could make more money, certainly, but there are other ways he could do it without having this stigma attached.
Can I just say, Twitter is so much more toxic than OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Social media generally, so much more toxic than OnlyFans. Yet we have big companies owning all of those platforms.
The guy who owns Twitter also has image issues.
Yeah. Okay, but that's because of his personality going into it. I'm just saying, you've got the Mark Zuckerbergs and you've got, a lot of very, wealthy people who own platforms that are more toxic.
To your point,
sounds like you want to buy OnlyFans.
If I could, I would. If I could, I would.
You want to admit it, we are a country of pearl clutchers, and OnlyFans.
Get over it.
Hi, I'm Caitlin from New York City. I think this is a huge missed opportunity for Scooter Braun. I mean, I think anyone could see that this is such a huge business opportunity for him, especially since he lost all of his good clientele. And honestly, it would be nice to see Sydney Sweeney have some steady work lined up for her.
Oh, God.
Come on. Okay.
All right, so this is a really heartwarming moment for Shohei Ohtani because he was expected to get a little bit of hardware after, on top of the World Series championship. Everyone expected he was going to be the MVP. The announcement happened last night, and he was waiting for the announcement with his family.
But wait a minute, wasn't another pitcher?
Yes, in the World Series, Yamamoto was the better pitcher. But this is the season award.
Okay.
Who's going to be the MVP? So here was the announcement as it went down last night on MLB Network. Pay attention to how Shohei celebrated as soon as he heard the news.
The National League MVP is Shohei Ohtani. All right.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's his wife.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, that's his wife.
I love that.
His wife, Mamiko, it seemed like she was expecting him to come in for the kiss, but Decoy, Decoy got the kiss instead.
Right, it made it look like he was going in for the kiss. Look, oh no.
Was he? Poor Mamiko, she was like, wait, but what about me?
Was he clowning? Was that intentional?
I don't think he was clowning. I think he just wanted to kiss the dog.
Funny.
It does look weird, but I don't know this for a fact, but in Japanese culture, they're not very openly not big on PDA.
Right. I think except with dogs.
Yeah. Right.
Except with dogs. Now,
that is the funniest moment.
Mike, I don't want to make an issue here. I'm not trying to make this an East-West thing.
Yeah.
But, the American League MVP went to Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. And, this was his reaction when he heard the news.
Oh, yeah,
also with his wife and dogs.
But
his wife got the hug and the kiss. The dogs were there,
He's
too.
patting the dog. He's patting the dog.
Yeah.
But he didn't kiss the dog before his wife.
I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just
the funniest thing. And he just got married. I think he's only been married like 1 or 2 years.
Not that long, yeah.
That's funny.
Hi, this is Will from Los Angeles. I'm excited for Shohei to win again, another well-deserved honor. 2 titles in 3 seasons with the Dodgers, plus back-to-back unanimous MVP. So he's well worth the $700 million that we paid him. He deserved every last dime.
Well, he's only gotten about what, 3, 4, 5 million of it yet?
Yeah, he's just waiting on the back end.
Coming up.
It's no secret we cover a lot of celebrity deaths here.
I know.
And this one, the death.
It's tragic.
Of the penny.
Yeah, this is a sad moment, everybody, and I always need a reason to.
I love
Lincoln.
Be right back.
It's no secret we cover a lot of celebrity deaths here.
I know.
And this week, I honestly, the amount of traction it got on the website, the death.
It's tragic.
Of the penny. It really did get. It's amazing. The reason they took the penny out of circulation, partly is said like nobody uses it anymore, and it's actually going to save the Treasury says it'll save us $56 million a year.
It's also
by not printing anymore. But clearly, people are at the very least nostalgic about pennies because it got so much attention on our website and other places. Like people have been talking about it. So. We got to follow the money, all right? In honor of the penny, we are going to follow the money, and there is a lot of money to talk about related to the penny now that it is not in circulation. So joining us to do that is our good friend Damon John from Shark Tank.
Hey, Damon, I would normally say a penny for your thoughts, and I can't even say that.
Yeah, this is a sad moment, everybody, and I always need a reason to.
I love
Lincoln.
Where'd you get props near a chicken coop?
Yeah, he's a guy.
Oh, that's my Carolina coop. We don't eat our friends, but Lincoln is the last person to be on the penny, and I always need a reason to pull out my top hat. Now, this is a sad moment, but I think we're talking about times how we're moving into Bitcoin, digital, and various other ways you can track us too from the government side. A lot of people are starting to realize that we're moving to these kind of currencies. But yes, the penny was costing about 3.7 cents to make each one. There's still $250 billion worth of pennies or billion of pennies, I'm not sure, out in circulation. The penny will still be around for a little while so you can see what Coca-Cola can do when you put a dirty penny in it.
So if you people, look, I'm sure lots of people, I just looked in my desk, I've got a small stack of pennies for some reason, I don't know why. Do they become more valuable now? Like if you have a bunch of change laying around at home, should you be stashing those pennies away for, I don't know, 10 years from now, what's it going to be worth?
I do think, to be very honest, I tell my wife that she calls me a hoarder, but I do think all things physical will become way more valuable. Pictures, imagery, and, like I told her, do not throw out my Shark Tank. When I first get pitched on Shark Tank, well, she threw out the first pair of Bombas socks or whatever on Shark Tank, and I told her that would probably be worth $500,000 now. Now she's dumpster diving. But anyway, I think all things physical are going to increase in value, and that's why I think the penny will be of way more value 10, 20 years from now.
So are they going to, at a point, do they just say, no more pennies, we're not going to accept pennies? or are the ones?
I mean, they have to accept it, right? It's U.S. currency.
I don't know. I mean,
it's still valid U.S. currency, right?
I just wonder.
They legally have to accept it because it's issued by our Treasury Department and it's U.S. currency, but it's going to be frowned upon. But listen, you have ever seen some people who get sued by other people and they send them, $100,000 in pennies? I mean, there's always ways to use it, but at the end of the day, it is going to just go away. And I think people collect the same way they do stamps and so many other things. Collecting currency and things issued by our government or any government is a really big business at the end of the day.
You know what? I'm going to make an argument against what you just said. Because, when you go to a store and sometimes...
by the way.
Well, you go to a store sometimes and they say, we won't accept a $50 bill or a $100 bill because they don't want to break...
Right. They can't break it because they can take all their change.
Well, if they can do that with a $100 bill, why can't they say we don't accept pennies?
Yeah, well, they can say that, but there's somebody, like a Harv who just wants to create a point can go in and actually sue them and make them take it.
Basically, if they see you coming, they should just say, sorry, sir, we're closed.
That's fair.
Damon, hey, the top hat looks great in the fall setting. Give our best to the chickens.
Are there chickens
Goodbye, Lincoln.
Are there chickens
there? There are chickens there, but I have more. But I have my turkeys and goats and all there. They're all hanging out over there. I told them to be quiet because I was shooting, and so I put them over there. They never want to cooperate.
You can't say shooting around them.
Can I just ask? I did one quick question. Do turkeys get nervous over Thanksgiving week?
We don't eat our friends. Tell them, Dave.
I would assume so, but we don't eat our friends over here. So my turkeys are very happy. They're like, they're hanging out, so they're chilling.
Gotcha.
Hey, Damon, we will see you next time, man.
Thank you.
That was a fair question.
Oh, really?
Coming up.
Don't even look at me about running because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time.
I'm not buying it.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't know that that's entirely fair.
Be right back.
Do you think that impacts the room that we've made for a woman to be president?
Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. We got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it. What was the question?
I'm not buying it. Not buying what you're saying.
I don't know that that's entirely fair.
It's not fair.
I know where it's coming from.
Hillary Clinton lost. If 44,000 voters changed their vote, she would be president. So it was a grand total of 44,000 votes. So she could have been president, and she was very close. And Kamala Harris, there are lots of reasons she didn't win.
It could just be about the candidate.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not necessarily.
And it was close with Hillary.
I know what she's saying, though, that.
Yeah, there's prejudice.
You hear a lot of that.
There's prejudice. There's prejudice with people who are people of color, and her husband broke that barrier. There are prejudice with people over religion. There are all sorts of prejudices. Yeah, it's true. But a woman almost became president in 2016.
Yeah, I have to say I disagree with her on this. I totally think we're ready for a female president. I just think it needs to be the right person. Kind of like you said, Hillary was so close. And Kamala, a lot of people felt she didn't get like a fair shake on it because she kind of got promoted like farther
thrown
in.
into it late in the race.
Totally.
So
there were people who were not into her as much.
For sure. But look, does it have to do with her being a woman or not? I want to think that's not the case. I want to think that we are ready for a female president, and who knows, it could be me.
But her husband, her husband broke that barrier, that huge barrier of race.
By the way, there's another thing that, and she didn't say this, but maybe what she's saying is that we're not ready for a black woman.
She didn't say that.
She didn't say that, but...
Well, but look, she's looking at Hillary Clinton, too. So you have to look at that. You can't look just at Kamala Harris. You got to look at Hillary Clinton. And she almost won.
Nakia, Los Angeles. I disagree with you guys. I know you guys say Hillary almost won, but she didn't win. Kamala didn't win. We had two very qualified women who should have became president of the United States, and they didn't. And I think one thing Donald Trump did do, the only thing that I will give him credit for, was he did open that door back where a lot of things were shoved inside, whether it was misogyny, whether it was racism, homophobia, and he opened that door back where a lot of people showed who they really were. So I think a lot of us in this country, we want a woman president, but this country is not ready. And though Hillary was close, she did not win, and she should have. And same thing with Kamala.
Well, she should have, and that's what people say.
I mean, you can't say, the other thing is shoulda in politics. There's no shoulda. If you win, you win.
But she almost had half the country.
Coming up.
Well, Steve Aoki is known for his interactions with fans at his shows, right? He's very much about getting in with the crowd. And at his show last night, invited someone up on stage with him. And this fan was so excited because they had shared a moment with Steve before, or so they thought.
Be right back.
Well, Steve Aoki is known for his interactions with fans at his shows, right? He's very much about getting in with the crowd. And at his show last night, invited someone up on stage with him. And this fan, you're gonna see this, was so excited because they had shared a moment with Steve before, or so they thought.
What is going on?
So the fan got up there and was like, oh, well, you got to look at my phone, Steve. You and I hung out before. And Steve broke the news to him. You got rooked.
Oh, my God.
The guy looked more like Charlie Cotton.
That is so
And you
funny.
know Charlie would do that.
Of course he would. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.